Bringer of Rain Boxing Talk here, folks. Back once again. Now, today I wanted to touch on a subject for a little bit here while I have some spare time, and it's regarding the stamina topic going into the Pacman and Spence fight. Now, I covered on this channel a few days ago an interview that Pacquiao had with a Philippine news network, and I talked about the Mayweather portion of that interview where Pacquiao responded to some disparaging comments that Floyd had made about how Pacquiao basically needs to fight for money and how it's pathetic that he's still fighting real boxers. And I talked about how foolish those statements were, especially from a competitor, a former all-time great boxer like Floyd Mayweather, should not be shaming the competitive spirit of Manny Pacquiao. Because like I said in that video, if Manny wanted to fight for money, he would have fought Jake Paul or some silly shit like that. And to be quite frank, I feel kind of like a fool for even mentioning that guy's name on my channel. Anyway, another remark he made in that same interview that I didn't talk about that I really want to highlight to people here so that they get the message as well. In that same interview, he talked specifically, and I quote, "You will see more action in the ring compared to my last 3 fights. I need to make sure my stamina is improved so I don't fall short." Now, what Manny Pacquiao is basically doing here is echoing the sentiment that I have said on this channel for weeks now. That Errol Spence, his style, how he likes to come forward and throw a million punches, front foot heavy, seek and destroy, hyper aggressive. Manny Pacquiao is going to need to reach back another gear and notch it up just a little bit more than he did for that Keith Thurman fight to beat Errol Spence. And a lot of people have called me insane. They've called me a Pacquiao fanboy for suggesting that it's possible. But I've gone on record here, folks. I'm going to say it again, and I'm not backing down from this. If Manny Pacquiao can make sure his stamina is up to snuff and not gas out against Errol Spence, then I believe stylistically Manny Pacquiao should be favored to beat Errol Spence. Look, I've talked about it on this channel before. I think that front foot heavy style of Errol Spence could play into the advantages that Manny Pacquiao might have. Because when you come forward, right, when you march straight forward, and a lot of times Errol Spence, he's not really cutting angles or setting up any illusion when he's stepping forward. Like, I've watched and studied some of his recent fights with Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia, Showtime Sean Porter. Errol Spence is a guy who likes to bang, okay? And 99% of the time, well, actually 100% of the time, because he hasn't moved up in weight yet, he's going to be the biggest welterweight, the strongest physically in the ring. And he just kind of uses his physical tools to his advantage, to where he doesn't necessarily have to cut angles or set traps or come in through the side door. No, Errol Spence, he walks straight forward. Okay, that's why I gave him the nickname the Terminator, okay? Because he's marching forward, he's looking to chop you down like a tree, and he has one sole mission. That's to take you out. Seek and destroy. Like, I compare his style to Gennady Golovkin. I think Golovkin was a little bit more measured. He probably had a little bit better of a jab. Probably did a bit better job at setting up his punches. But Errol Spence, to that note, is more athletic than Gennady Golovkin. And he fights at a more crazy pace. There's more chaos to Errol Spence's game compared to Triple G's. But like I was mentioning earlier about the kind of way that he comes forward, I could see Manny Pacquiao, while he still has his legs under him, be able to do the classic Manny Pacquiao move that we saw in his last fight against Keith Thurman. Rip off the combinations, and because his hands are faster than you and his feet are faster than you, he can rip off combinations and get out of the pocket before you can respond. And quite frankly, I think people are going to be surprised in the early goings when Manny Pacquiao is getting in and out of the firing range before Errol Spence can really start to lay down the wood and get his shots off, his hard punches. Now, I know what I'm saying is controversial here. If you go on any boxing websites, Boxing Scene, Fight News, wherever, and you look at any Pacquiao and Spence article, you'll see nothing but comments peppered with the obituary of Manny Pacquiao, saying, "Rest in peace, good night, Pacquiao, he's going to get killed in the ring, this and that, this and that." Well, folks, just like they were saying about the Keith Thurman fight, you guys better hope, to all those people that are doubting Manny Pacquiao, you guys better hope that Errol Spence takes care of the job. Because if Manny Pacquiao's stamina, like I've said before on this channel, if he's able to ratchet up his stamina, I'm not saying he needs to be prime 2011, 2009 Manny Pacquiao that fought Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Manny Pacquiao needs to be at a slight, I'm saying like he needs to be a little bit better than he was in just his last fight. I'm not saying he needs to be better than he was 10 plus years ago, a decade ago. I'm not saying that. His last fight, folks, I'm saying he needs to be a little bit better than he was in his last fight. And I don't think that's some crazy proposition. People are calling me an insane Pacquiao fanboy for echoing that sentiment. But I think it's entirely plausible that if he crafts the training camp for this fight in the right way, and if he prepares his body in the right way, if he does everything perfectly right, which I think there's a chance that he will, because Manny Pacquiao knows his body, the people that are working around him have been there for years and years, they know what it takes to get him prepared. If they do those things, and his stamina is up to snuff, I'm telling you folks, a lot of people are going to be surprised here. A lot of people will. Manny Pacquiao will be able to get in and out of the pocket before Errol Spence can fire back. I believe Manny Pacquiao is the puncher in this fight, hits harder than Errol Spence. And quite frankly, who's to say that after a hefty accumulation of punches, that Errol Spence will not be the one that's worn down when we get to the latter portion of the fight. Folks, I don't know what I can say here, guys. I keep seeing people parading around saying that Manny Pacquiao will be killed in the ring, and I just don't think they understand boxing. They don't understand styles. If you walk forward to Manny Pacquiao without any deception, this is a guy who can pick you apart with lethal hand speed and the quickest feet, some of the best feet in the history of boxing. And if he still has that stamina, I don't see how Spence wins. I don't get it, guys. People don't understand the styles that are at play here, folks. Errol Spence does not fight in the same way that Floyd Mayweather and Juan Manuel Marquez fight. Please, guys, rewatch a Floyd Mayweather fight. That's a guy who's a master at controlling distance, has a hair trigger hook, counter punch hooks, the counter right hand, that lead right hand, super defensive, catches shots on the arms. It's incredibly hard to get into even a punching range with the guy. And he breaks down his opponents in that kind of way. A lot of times he likes to operate on the back foot, keep you at range, stick that jab out there, bludgeon you to death with quick pot shots and elusive movement. That's the exact opposite style of Errol Spence. Food for thought here, folks. But to wrap this up really quick, this rant, I know I get a little bit off tangent here, guys. I mean, I'm a boxing fan first, right? But I'm not going to hide the fact that, yeah, I am a Manny Pacquiao fan. He's my favorite fighter. I have an affinity for the Pacman and his legendary career. And when I get on here, I just hope that people can look past my fandom and take what I'm saying seriously here, folks, because I'm urging people to break down this fight stylistically, okay? And come to the conclusion that Spence does not fight in the same manner that Marquez and Mayweather do. He just doesn't. It's just plain facts. And Manny Pacquiao is working on his stamina. And I've been watching him in camp. The shots still sound like a thunderbolt, folks. On the mitts, on the heavy bag, it looks great. And the hard stuff hasn't even started yet. We just got into July. This will be a pivotal month for Team Pacquiao. They're going to be teaming up with Freddie Roach this weekend. And the hard stuff begins. But the emphasis on this training camp is stamina. And I believe that if Manny Pacquiao can reach back there, watch out, folks. Because if he comes away with a victory in this fight, you're never going to hear the end of it from me. Once again, guys, just giving you a quick little food for thought here on the Pacman and Spence fight. Bring of Rain Boxing, signing out.